We're here together tonight to talk about the 11 buy one get one free oils that were up for grabs last week. Some of you will have got, you know, one of them. Others might have splashed out and got all of them. I mean, it was a fantastic opportunity to build your collection, because thanks, Sajida, I've seen your message. That's amazing. It was a fantastic opportunity for us all to build our collection, right? Because if we went for all of them, we only needed to buy 5 and we got 11. So that is my kind of deal. So this evening, I'm going to be touching on each one. We're going to be going into them in a little bit of depth. Obviously, there is so much that you could look up. So the majority of you watching this, you're going to have, you might have the Modern Essentials Plus app on your phone. You might have a book. You might have maybe Modern Essentials book or the Oil Magic book. You might have the booklet that whoever got you started with would have probably sent you when you started. You might use the internet. So obviously we can all go and look up properties and uses and benefits. So I'm going to share with you just some of also what I do, because I think often, you know, we like to learn and it's useful to learn off other people. I know for me, you know, if there's somebody that I follow or somebody that I've got a connection with, I'm probably more likely to also enjoy what they do with that oil. So I'm going to bring some of that in tonight, as well as sharing, you know, some of my favorite images and things like that. So let's start with turmeric. So yeah, let me know who got turmeric, if you perhaps took up that offer, or if you already had it. Okay. So as you can see here, turmeric is sourced, doTERRA's turmeric is sourced from India and Nepal. So sometimes they source from more than one country because combining the oils from different locations give even better chemistry. That's one reason. Or the other reason might be just so that they can source enough for us. Okay, so just kind of meet supply basically. So also in these little sourcing sort of images, you can see either oils that complement the oil that we're talking about, also how much raw material goes into the bottle, and then the chemistry part. Broadly speaking, if you know what chemical constituent makes up the majority of an oil, then even if you don't know anything about that oil specifically, you can, if you know a bit about these particular constituents, you can start to immediately know what kind of properties and support they're going to bring. So I'm not going to be focusing in on those particularly tonight, but you can follow along if you want to, because each person watching is going to have different things that they're interested in. So we are going to be talking about lavender as well, like if you look at the middle image there. So that's why I pulled this out, because lavender was on the BOGO with the Roman chamomile and the blue tansy. So that's coming in towards the end. So that's why I've included that one there as well, because it's relevant to 2 of the oils we're talking about. And there's a little combination that can be really nice in a veggie cap or even in a glass of water. You can combine the 2. Now the flavor wouldn't be amazing, but the properties would be. So turmeric, I don't know if anyone's smelt it yet, or perhaps I should say, I'm just logging back into Facebook so I can follow along with any questions. I'm not like hanging out on texting my friends while I'm talking to you. Yeah, so if I would be interested to know if anyone's got turmeric and not smelt it yet, because it's a real pungent, earthy kind of smell. I would say even more intense than the fresh root. And so, you know, you don't necessarily, you know, have turmeric because you absolutely adore the aroma. It's probably more that you, yeah, we're getting it for its benefits. So yeah, you can combine it with lavender for these supportive properties. The main thing that I do with turmeric is 3 things actually. So it's great for the skin. So you might not necessarily think that it might be good to use in your personal care and beauty preparations, but it is. It doesn't stain like the powder does, so you don't have to kind of worry about that. But moreover, outside of skin, I would actually say tissues. So tissue discomfort, you can kind of incorporate it into kind of muscle rubs and things like that. So you could add turmeric in alongside something like deep blue, or into the deep blue rub if you're using that. But that would be really nice. Or you can just use it in its own right. So you could mix it into coconut oil and rub it on, you know, areas of discomfort. So that's another way I use it. I will use it in food sometimes. So if I'm making any kind of like yummy curries, mainly curries actually, I would put it in there. Really delicious. You'll always put your essential oils in at the end if you're cooking with them. And I'm going to have to come to the questions at the very end, guys, because for some reason my phone has logged me out of my Facebook account. So I will look at questions, but I'll do it at the end once I stop sharing these slides. So yeah, so in food, tissue discomfort, skin, so generally, you know, face blemishes, that kind of thing, they would be the main things. Now you can weave in turmeric oil for other, you know, into diffuser blends. It's just something I personally don't do, and I haven't played around actually an awful lot with it in diffusers. I tend to sort of have it in other ways, use it in the kitchen and use it on my skin. You can also put it in veggie caps. It's definitely got a really you know, worthwhile application, and probably going to bring powerful benefits to kind of for cellular health, and yeah, internally it says their immune support, antioxidant support, definitely. So if you do nothing else with it, it would be just really amazing in a veggie cap. I know that Sajida's watching and she's tried, there's a recipe going around looking at the smoothie recipe. So turmeric oil would be amazing in smoothies. Obviously it's going to go really well with the tropical kind of tropical flavors as well. So there's a pineapple smoothie going around. You can Google that, or if anybody's watching and they've got it to hand, you could also pop it in to the comments. Also, as I said, I'm going to come back to questions at the end, but you guys are very welcome. You can help each other. So I'm sure you'll there can be some good conversation going in the chat anyway. So that's turmeric. Okay, peppermint. So peppermint is quite an easy one for me to talk about because it's my favorite oil. I've decided. I didn't actually used to realize that peppermint was my favorite oil, and then I started to think, hang on a minute, I'm having a couple of drops in my cereal, my chocolate granola that I make in the morning, and then a bit later on in the morning I'll often have a coffee, an oatly kind of organic coffee, and I blend up a drop of peppermint oil into that. So often before, you know, the morning's only just got started and I've already had like 3, 4, 5 drops. Sometimes I have 2 bowls of the chocolate granola, you see. So yeah, I would say that peppermint actually is my favorite oil because it's so versatile. It's one of the few oils that are sourced from a non-developing country. So doTERRA have found that the conditions that provide the best quality, most consistent peppermint oil, it's the menthol that we're really most interested in, comes from Washington. So the Washington area in America is where the peppermint is sourced. You can see some oils there that are offered that peppermint goes well with. So if you've never tried orange and peppermint together, you're missing out. Definitely try it. So it sounds like an unusual, unlikely combination, right? In the real world, when I would be out there and other wellness advocates would be out there sharing the oils through events and fairs and things like that, the way we share the oils would be to give people a drop of peppermint in one hand and a drop of wild orange oil in the other hand, and we would get them to smell them separately first, and then we would get them to rub their hands together and have a good old smell, not too close to the nose and with their eyes closed, because peppermint's very strong. And people are blown away by it. And comment if you've tried this. Maybe that's how you were introduced to the oils. And if you haven't tried it, do give it a go, because why it's such a good combination is peppermint is the #1 oil for energy, and orange is just such a happy, uplifting oil. So you're getting this kind of energy and mood boost all in one, and who doesn't need that? And that's just going to make anyone feel amazing. It is an oil that's, you see that purple S on the top of the sourcing image. That means that if you have sensitive skin, or if you're using someone with a, you know, elderly or a child, you do want to dilute peppermint. If you're using it intentionally, it can reduce breast milk supply if you're nursing. So use of occasional peppermint, I feel, is fine. It's more if you're trying to achieve that outcome. So you would be using it, you know, quite a few drops, quite a few times a day. So just to let you know about that as well. Other things, digestion. I think most people, you know that it's great for digestive health. 28 cups of tea, herbal peppermint tea, you would have to drink to have the same impact as the 1 drop of the oil. So you could make yourself a peppermint oil tea. I do that all the time. It's delicious and really quick, because you don't have to wait for the tea bag to brew. I'm all about speed in my life, and I know everybody pretty much, you know, we're all busy people, and I love, you know, if I want a drink to have a drink quickly, or I want to make it quickly, you know, I can have it. I'll take my mug, I'll fill it half up with cold water and my 1 drop of peppermint oil, and then I'll top it up with boiling water. It's delicious. Congestion, it's the #1 oil that really clears your congested nose. People that can't smell can normally smell doTERRA peppermint. Now, I was going to say I can't talk about peppermint without talking about chocolate, but I've already talked about chocolate. But here we go. Here's a recipe for you. This one is a sort of a recipe that you would keep ready made in a jar. It's quite handy actually, you know, with the sugar already mixed in. You could use something, well, I personally would use coconut sugar, and then you make it, you know, it's just ready to go to stir into your hot milk every time you want to make it. So there we go, that's a lovely one to do. The emotional aspect of peppermint oil. Do you know what, I'm actually gonna see if I can check the comments after each duo. The emotional aspects of peppermint, it's about supporting people being able to, at times when they really need to feel lighter, when they really need to feel that they're kind of having this sense of being lifted and perhaps more like they're able to kind of float through life. So that's what the buoyant heart is all about. It's just a really lovely, invigorating oil, and it just helps to sort of take the seriousness out of life. But it's kind of a short-term fix. So you're still going to need to sort out peppermint. Yeah, peppermint's still going to need to kind of do the work underneath the feelings that are causing you to be feeling heavy, but peppermint can give you that pep up that you need in the moment. Does that make sense? And then a little recipe there. I picked that one because it includes one of the other oils in this BOGO. So yeah, that's why I picked that one. Just going to see if this will work. Can I look at comments? Yes, I can. Great. So all is good. Sasha's on, Emma's on, Alicia's on, Alexia's on, Sajida's on. Hello, my beauties. Lovely to see you all. Yes, Alexia. Turmeric is super pungent, isn't it? Isn't it? Yeah, but incredibly strong and delicious. So yeah, it's a good one. Right. So I'm gonna, after each little pairing, I'll just check the comments just like I did there. So if you've got any questions for me, do ask them as we're going along. All right, so ZenGest, you know, you guys, depending on how long you've been around here and how long you've been using your oils for, this might not be the most exciting oil, because it might be one that, you know, you've known about for ages. It comes in the starter kit. Used to be called Digest Zen, now it's called ZenGest. It's the digestive blend. but even, you know, it's in the top 10 for a reason, because it's a really indispensable oil for anything relating to, you know, digestive discomfort, temporary digestive discomfort. So it was actually, it's not like this oil doesn't really do much for me. I don't love it, but I have a soft spot for it, because it was the first oil that made me go, wow, these oils, there's something to these oils. Because I was on holiday in Marrakesh, had the oils about 2 months. I took mini sort of little bottles with me in the keychain you guys might have seen, and had some like niggles, you know, when I'm away, I'm eating things a bit different to at home. And I had a drop of this in water with my meal. And during the meal, those feelings subsided. So for me, I feel that this oil works really fast. I've also used it on holiday on a boat with my children and myself. And I think they kind of helped us, shall we say, keep our lunch down. And yeah, anything really to do with occasional digestive discomfort, this is really, really amazing. And the reason I put the other image there, just to show you what's in it, because for people that perhaps might need this support a bit more regularly, and they don't want to mess around with putting drops in water or making their own capsules up using those veggie cap things that you might have seen. You can get a jar of them, and they're made of cellulose, which is plant fiber essentially. You can make your own up, but the people that just don't want the faff of that, you can get ZenGest made already by doTERRA in capsules. So if you ever hear us talking about soft gels, a soft gel is a ready-made capsule, and doTERRA do maybe 10 different different options of different oils in there, and they do make ZenGest soft gels. So but the main reason I put this slide on is I just wanted you to be able to see what oils are found in the blend. Yeah, so there we go, that's what oils are in the blend. I also like to put ZenGest in milk, so like a plant-based milk. I just find that the oils disperse more easier in an oily substance. So you can, I don't know if I've got a dropper bottle here, but you can put the oils in a, I know I've got a dropper bottle in my Mer because it's such a sticky oil. So you can, I don't know if I'll even be able to get this off because it's so sticky. I normally have to put it in water, but you know, the droppers, you can keep like a bottle of this in your kitchen with olive oil in it. And when you're making up your veggie caps, you can put a couple of drops of olive oil in alongside, if you like the idea of having your oils a bit dispersed, you know, mixed, pre-mixed. That's quite a nice option as well. Okay, Wintergreen. So this is a lesser known oil. It has a different lid to the majority of oils. So if you know the type of lid, if you're familiar with the type of lid that Deep Blue has, this has exactly the same lid, and this is because it's a child safety lid. It's one we definitely don't take internally. It's really, really powerful. That's why. So I once read 1 drop of this stuff is approximately equivalent to 150 aspirins, which is amazing. You know, I want one of these. I want a bottle of this in my medicine cabinet. It's sourced from Nepal. If you want to watch, if you like the sourcing videos, let me know if you're familiar with what I mean when I talk about sourcing videos. It's kind of like the backstory to these oils, like the story behind the bottle, if you like. You can Google for most single oils, you know, Wintergreen plus sourcing, and there's a really nice story on, you know, Wintergreen and how it's sourced from Nepal. And doTERRA source at least 2, maybe more essential oils, and you know, they're such poor countries, and it's really and they've been inflicted with you know, natural disasters, and it's such a lovely thing to be able to support, you know, these countries and these communities. And you know, when I'm buying a bottle of Wintergreen, I know that I'm making a difference to, you know, those individuals. I'm in some small way, I'm supporting and helping them, rather than doTERRA just owning a handful of farms and just bashing all the, you know, plants out. It's not necessarily well, it's definitely not the easiest way, but doTERRA are committed to doing it. So yeah, so it's from Nepal, and you can see in there, it's interesting, under the chemistry, that the methyl salicyate is, you don't often see that. The whole bottle pretty much is just this one constituent. And tissue discomfort is pretty much the only main, well, it's the main use of wintergreen. So you can use it in different ways to support tissue discomfort, and it might be an active lifestyle or exercise. So, you know, there's different reasons why we might have that discomfort in the first place. It's not necessarily to do with dis-ease, although it could be, right? But it could also just be from overexertion or hard work. So gardening, you know, whatever it might be, strenuous active job, etc. So like you might do with deep blue, you can put it in the bath, so that would be really nice. A couple of drops in the bath. Just want to make sure there's something else in the bath to help disperse the oil. Doesn't really matter what, pretty much anything you could think of will do that. It's uplifting and stimulating, so that's nice, isn't it? So although we are, you know, mainly thinking about it for skin, it does have a little bit of a you know, it's going to pep us up a little bit as well. The main thing I would do with this is actually on that third bullet point there, I would be mixing it into a carrier oil and applying it on the body where I need it, you know, the most. It is something you could take along, you know, for a massage. And it's another oil that's sensitive, you know, marked as sensitive. So if you know you have sensitive skin, then you want to be diluting this one. Okay, back to these thingies. Oh, you've been using it, no? So Nicola, yeah, Nicola's had a tricky old time these last few months, or weeks rather. You've been out of surgery, haven't you? And yeah, Nicola said it's really been helping her over these last few weeks. So yeah, it's kind of like, think of all the things that Deep Blue does. It's going to be a similar, but what's important is sometimes we can be like, oh, well, why do we need that if we've got Deep Blue? You know, it kind of does the same thing. But actually, it's quite good to mix it up a bit with all things, with all oils. Like, our bodies are likely to get used to one oil if we just use that same oil all the time. So it's actually nice to have a few in your toolkit, so that you can, you know, kind of challenge the body and encourage it to be like, oh, I've got to respond to this today, and this has got slightly different constituents in it than this. So and also, you know, work intuitively if you feel you know, okay to do that, confident to do that, and just kind of, you know, see which one you're more drawn to. Am I more drawn to Deep Blue from this tissue discomfort today, or am I more drawn to turmeric or Deep Blue? Because also our bodies probably will tell us, and sometimes we just need to kind of start doing that, get back in touch with that, and our intuition can work really nicely. All right, so we've got a nice little duo now. Do you remember the pink pepper and the black pepper? They came together. So who got that that's watching? Let me know. Let me know if you had a smell. Let me know if they smelt the same or different to what you're expecting. Like, how are you expecting pink pepper to smell? I think it's got a really interesting aroma. And I sometimes find with a new oil, don't know if you guys agree with this, I sometimes find that I need to get to know the oils of any new oil. So that first sniff, I might be a bit unsure, or I might be like, oh no. But then over time, when I come back to it, or I maybe go away and read about it, or maybe just on a different day, perhaps I need that oil that day, and then I'm like, oh god, that's really not, you know, you get to know and get a bit familiar. The thing, I'll tell you how what I do with a new oil. I was looking for my yellow Mandarin, which is the oil that I'm getting to know at the moment, but I don't think it's on my desk, so I'm going to go with this clementine instead, which isn't a million miles away from it. What I do, obviously, I take the lid off and I have a little smell. And I try and I don't know, I try and like treat them with reverence and respect. So I'll like have a look at the label first and the Latin name, and I don't know, just kind of show some, might sound silly, but show some appreciation, some gratitude. Then I'll have a smell, and I'll try and do it when I'm kind of not going to be interrupted, just so I can like really focus on the aroma. And then I don't know, you might have heard me say before, but you do need to have a drop of an oil on your hand, you know, to release those constituents, those volatile aromatic constituents, because it will smell different. It will smell more intense, and you'll get more of the detail in it. And then if it's if the oil is suitable for internal use, then, you know, this is the first thing I did with the yellow mandarin when I received it a couple of days ago. I'll put it in my water and I'll enjoy it that way. I'm just going to clean my spoon. And then I will diffuse it. So the very last thing I'll do when I'm, you know, exploring an oil is I'll just diffuse it on its own, just so I can kind of, again, just experience that one oil, because that's the beginning of me kind of getting to know it. So pink pepper then, I love, so the main thing, I think probably the thing that I do most often with pink pepper is have it in water. I prefer it with a citrus oil. Now, whatever you think of pink pepper, it's got a pretty colour label, right? To me, the aroma is, actually, for me, it smells a tiny bit like petrol. And I found that I prefer the taste of it with a citrus, so something like an orange, or you know, any citrus really, your favourite citrus. You can have a play around. Copaiba also is really nice with a citrus. But the magic and the strength with pink pepper is actually it's an incredibly supportive, really important oil. So the same way that frankincense is known to be an incredibly important, special, supportive oil, pink pepper is the same. So we're talking about cellular health here. And if you don't know what I mean by cellular health, go have a Google. It's the compliant way that we have to talk about things like frankincense and pink pepper in this regard. But very important to be, you know, using something to support our cellular health, so that that process is happening, hopefully in a healthy way every day. So that's why it's such a special oil. And also the story behind pink pepper is beautiful. It's sourced from Kenya and also Peru. And, you know, doTERRA often, like part of their sourcing initiatives are, they actually want to find plants to give us oils in places where they can help the most people in the biggest way. So pink pepper is an example of this, where in Kenya, pink pepper grows on the sides of kind of tracks as kind of bushes. They're like wild bushes. And it's like some of these communities had like this gold basically on the edge of their road, and didn't even perhaps not, I don't know if they knew it was there, but it was not being it wasn't being utilized, and so now it is. And it's another example of how we get to experience and have the opportunity to have these incredible oils in our lives, but at the same time a bit of an industry has been created in these certain parts of Kenya and Peru. So I love that. I love all that stuff. And again, there's a really gorgeous video. I think there might be two actually on pink pepper, talking to, I think it was a woman who I can't remember her story actually, and I probably won't go into it here anyway for time, but just go have a Google Kenya co-impact sourcing pink pepper. So you can see there's other things. It's not just cellular support, digestive support, immune support, respiratory, and it's going to be an uplifting oil. It's going to be, it says there, it's going to be relaxing to the nervous system, and there's some gorgeous diffuser blends there. So there's a couple there with, you know, oils, other oils that we're talking about this evening as well. So that's the pepper duo. So let's see if we've got anything else. So yeah, Nicola's been talking a little bit more about Wintergreen, I'm assuming that was, yeah. So yes, thank you. Yeah, there's still there's still some that I don't like the smell of as well. And I just think there's not many, but there's like one or two that I'm really averse to, and I don't think that's actually ever going to change now, because I even spent some time working with that oil, and even when it's in a blend, I still absolutely find it repulsive. So I'm just accepting that that oil isn't meant for me on some level. I don't know, it'd be interesting to see if that ever changes in the future, but right now, yeah, it's not for me. All right, so let's go back now. Let's see what we've got next. So we've done 6 of the oils. We've got 5 of them left. So we have got, oh, sorry, I thought we'd done the pepper duo and black pepper. So black pepper is sourced from Madagascar. So it has some similarities to pink pepper. However, I find it really fascinating that they aren't actually from the same family at all. So black pepper is a spice oil. Yes, it's a spice, right? The plant where it comes from, it's a spice. Whereas pink pepper, interestingly, is actually the sort of the berry, like it's a fruiting plant, basically. So although they're not related, which I find fascinating. And so black pepper can also be taken internally. I use this a bit more in cooking for food flavoring as well. So it's amazing in something like a hummus. Really good. Always do a drop, guys, no more than a drop when you're playing around with especially these strong oils. Drop on a teaspoon. So if you like measure the drop onto a teaspoon first, then if you do more than a teaspoon by accident, it's your food isn't ruined. I've played around with black pepper in chai. So I play around with different kind of chai concoctions all the time. And what I have discovered there is it works best when you still use some spice powders and you're using the spice oils as just part of that lovely blend of flavors that you're creating. And also it's going to give the incredible enhanced supercharged properties, because we know that the essential oils are so powerful. But I find you need the powders to give some density to the drink. Otherwise it just tastes like a cup of milk that you've flavored with the oils. I find the little tiny bottles are really good in the kitchen, especially for strong oils, and especially if you're just making things just for you, like you're just playing around with a drink just for you. And say it was a chai, I'm not going to put like 5 drops of essential oil in from 5 different bottles, but if I've got the little ones, I would do 5 taps, because or 6 taps. So it's 6 bottles, 6 taps, different oils, because that would be 2 drops of essential oil, and that's kind of 1 to 2 drops is what we say. Now you can see in black pepper on the right that there's quite a lot of chemical constituents. So remember when we were looking at wintergreen, I'll just go back to show you a minute ago, the chemistry section on that little bottle there where it's bright pink. You see there's just one predominant chemical constituent, whereas black pepper's the opposite, right? You've got quite a lot of different ones. So the beta caryophyllene is the biggest one, and that gives black pepper. You'll have heard of black pepper being useful in for support with tissue discomfort. So it's another one that you might go for a massage. I know actually my massage therapist, who I've seen on and off for years and years, someone I trained with actually when I trained in nutrition, she would always use black peppers. Would always be one of the ones she would weave in for tissue discomfort. It's for its stimulating properties. I also noticed that black pepper, I noticed with me, if I'd had a massage in the evening and then went home, I could actually notice that it's had some stimulating effects as well. So that's just a side issue. That might not be your experience, because we have all got different biochemistry. What other chemical constituents? Cleansing. So cleansing would suggest that we could use it for either in cleaning or skin. What else have we got here? Well, immune support from the alpha-pinene, the limonene. So limonene is the constituent that we often find in citrus. So that's why we could have black pepper internally, and it's also going to be a nice oil for kind of cellular support and antioxidant support and detoxification. So there's lots of different things you can do with black pepper, but for me, the main thing I probably use it for is mussels and in the kitchen. I don't tend to use it that often in diffuser blends, but you totally could. There's lots of different things there that you can see mentioned. As I said, I was just going to share with you some of the things that I do. Otherwise, all I'm really doing is reading from slides for you. All right, so no questions as yet. Do feel free to ask anything, or yeah, share with us what you do with these oils as well, because again, it's nice to learn off each other. All right, so this is a trio now. Do you remember this blue tansy? This was the one that was, it is a more expensive oil, but I'm going to share some things that might make you go, yeah, okay, I see that. And also, because it was a BOGO, you got about £67 worth of free oils in the Roman Chamomile and the Lavender that are coming next. So blue tansy, you can see that it's sourced from Morocco. It's sometimes referred to as, well, does anybody know actually, while I have a sip of water, what it's sometimes known as, or what flower it comes from, or what flower family? Just seeing if it says there. I don't think you can cheat. It doesn't say, I don't think. I've got a nice skin serum recipe coming up in a second. I'm just going to have one more sip of water. I'll see if anybody's having a guess. I know sometimes the comments can take a little while to come through. So anyway, it's sometimes referred to as Moroccan chamomile. So this is a blue chamomile, if you like, and you may or may not know this is found in deep blue. So blue tansy along with blue chamomile itself. So there is a blue chamomile. This is set different to the blue chamomile, but of the same family. And it's those two oils that are found in deep blue that give deep blue their amazing color. I'm going to be sharing a gorgeous recipe in a minute. That's a gorgeous blue. Now, in the essential oil world, when you find an oil that has a blue color to it, so examples of blue tansy, blue chamomile, and yarrow, found in the yarrow pom. Who loves that one, eh? For skin or skin beautifying. What it means is there's a phenomenal amount of antioxidants. And when we're talking about the skin, antioxidants are incredible for the skin. Now, flower oils generally, so these next three we're talking about, blue tansy, Roman chamomile and lavender, are all flower oils, and flower oils share some properties. So they are all beautiful for the heart and the emotions. And they're also really supportive for the skin. So broadly speaking, you know, any flower oil, you know, you're going to be able to put it on your skin and it's going to be beautiful, and you know you're going to be able to work with it on a heart level, an emotional level, a feeling kind of calm, peaceful, level. Blue tansy, I have heard, I haven't actually researched this myself, but I have heard that it interrupts the enzyme that breaks down collagen, like yarrow pom does as well. I believe they both do this. So for anyone that's interested in getting to a certain age and having their skin, you know, continue to look as good as it can be, I know at my age, I'm in my 40s now, and all of a sudden I've seemed to have become completely obsessed with collagen. I don't know, like, put your hands up if anybody else is in that camp. But all of a sudden I'm like, collagen seems to be the thing that I need to be like, right, how can I slow it down? How can I get more of it? It's all about, it seems to all be about collagen, and you know, but I'm not interested in kind of, you know, I want to do it in a plant-based kind of way as well. So yeah, these oils definitely are very interesting to me from that perspective, and that's why I think I said this on the live that I did during BOGO week about blue tansy, that although on the surface it can seem expensive, you think how much you can pay for these posh sort of, well, not posh, but these anti-aging creams and lotions and potions that you get on the high street, and actually what's in them, you know, really what's in them when you look at it. I mean, I used to, like years ago, used to buy them all, you know, I loved, but now if I look at the ingredients, I'm like, oh my goodness, you know, actually, what was I doing? And even the ones that are marketed to us as being green actually normally aren't. They might be a bit better, but they're still not all that great. So for me, I would very happily, you know, I do very happily buy, you know, these essential oils now, because they are so much more potent than any high street cream is going to be. And we can weave them in different ways. So, you know, if you're waiting for me to tell you how do you use this, that you can do a few different things. You can weave it into, like, literally mix it into your cream. So say you get, does anybody here get the hydrating cream that doTERRA does in the pot? That's an amazing place to start if you haven't yet tried and you're kind of thinking, you know, that might be the first product that you try if you like a cream rather than a lotion. It's really popular. So you can you could choose to drop a few drops of it in and stir it in, and then it's just in there. Adding some frankincense would be amazing as well. Maybe you already do that with the frankincense. You could, you know, keep blue tansy in your bathroom, put a drop in to your night cream once or twice a week, you know. What was I going to say? It does turn your face a little bit blue, so you will have a slightly tinged blue face for about, I don't know, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, something like that. It does subside, but that's why I prefer to use it in the evening rather than in the morning if I'm going to be rushing off somewhere. So yes, it's soothing. It helps reduce blemishes, as it says there. And I've got this recipe here, which you might want to note down. And there are quite a lot of oils here, granted. However, you don't have to use all of them. So you could just take whichever ones you have and do that. But look what a beautiful color it is. It's the yarrow pom and the blue tansy that's going to make it that kind of deep dark color. I do this all the time with different oil combinations. I just Google, you know, the different doTERRA recipes. I play around with the carrier oil. I do have both avocado and jojoba. Sometimes I use, what's the other one? Rosehip. Sometimes I use argan. I will sometimes mix in the fractionated coconut oil into the mix. My skin, I need a bit more intense hydration. So the coconut oil that doTERRA does is beautiful. It's very light, and I need more than that. So it's a lovely addition for me. I sometimes will mix it in alongside, but I need something else in there. If you've got, if you don't need that, if your skin's not dry, then the coconut oil would be a lovely option too. So you just have to kind of play around, and over time, after you've made a few, you can also do it in a rollerball, this recipe. I often do it in here, especially if I'm like trying out a carrier oil, or even like trying out the essential oil combination, because you'll find some you love and some combinations. Like I made one recently from the Fragrant Pharmacy book. Does anybody have that? Love it. Really old school book that actually was the thing that years and years ago first sparked my love for essential oils. And I made a skin oil up the other day, and it had too much fennel in it, and I don't really like fennel that much. And it was so overpowering. At least if you've made it in a small bottle, you know, you can just kind of use it up and remember next time to halve the fennel. And then the Blue Tansy Big Toe Challenge. Now this is really fun, and I think I'm going to run this in my group over the weekend. I'll start it. It's a 21-day challenge, and I just want to thank Sajida actually for reminding me about it, because it's something that I ran a couple of years ago and I completely forgot about it. So I like it, Sajida, that you're obviously more on the ball than I am. But it's the oil, and so the emotional aspect that you hear me talk about from Emotions and Essential Oil book is that, does anybody know what the emotional picture is? Yeah, I was going to have a sip of this tea, but I think it was from this morning, so that wouldn't be so nice. My water's run out and I'm thirsty, but we're almost done, so I'll just hang on in there. So yeah, let me see if anyone's answered and I'll tell you. Oh, you just reshare. Actually, I'll just leave it. I don't think I can get to Facebook right now for some reason. It's the oil of inspired action. So that's what the Big Toe Challenge is all about. I think it's the big toe because it's probably to do with the reflex point. Does anybody know what the toes? Yeah, I can't think what the toes. Is it the heel starts at the bottom? It might be something to do with the brain area. I don't know, but yeah, the Blue Tansy Challenge is that you put a drop of Blue Tansy on one or both toes every day and see the magic happen. Because it is the oil of inspired action, it can help bring in movement, momentum, and action. Maybe if you're a procrastinator, it can help you move through that. So it's a fun thing to be doing, and yeah, why not? Let's do it in our group. So if you would like to join, comment underneath here. Also, if you're watching the replay, because then when I do set it up, what I'll be sure to do is tag those people, just to kind of get the ball rolling. Alrighty, so we're going to look at Roman Chamomile next. So got this one and Lavender, and then the Mandarins, and then we're done. So Roman Chamomile. So I have a soft spot for this oil because, oh, it says there, I was about to ask you if you know, but it's the only oil that actually is sourced partially from the UK. So that's amazing, isn't it? That a company that's, you know, is the largest essential oils company in the world sources its Roman Chamomile from our very own United Kingdom. So that's a lovely thing to be proud of. And Roman Chamomile, for me, I think of it, it's an incredibly, obviously a gentle oil. So if you're looking at oils for babies, it's pretty much the first oil. It's the most gentle. If you look at kind of newborns, for example, or, you know, it depends what book you look at. Some books sort of say, well, don't actually use anything until they're, you know, about a month or two old. But whatever, in any case, Roman Chamomile is the kind of that first oil, along with maybe lavender, that you could use. Frankincense and myrrh are beautiful as well. You can kind of go have a little look into that. But yeah, really gentle, beautiful, soft, calming oils. So for me, I use this at nighttime. I love to have it in tea, actually, which is why I put that picture there, because I said I was going to try and focus on, you know, how I use these oils. I will occasionally use it in the bath. I will occasionally weave it into like bedtime blends. So for example, I've been known to add it to Serenity. So Serenity has Roman Chamomile in it, but sometimes I like to kind of accentuate one of the oils in a blend. So I'll add a bit more of that single oil. So I do things like that. It's supportive for immune function, as it says there. But yeah, mainly I'm just using it for its calming properties. So yeah, bath, diffuser, tea, that's how I like to use it. But you guys let me know if there's other things that you do with it. It is, I believe, really calming, yeah, for the nervous system. Of course, if you're using it with babies, it's going to be a kind of a bit like when we talk about lavender being a Swiss Army knife. You know, you'll dilute it. So a dilution for babies is a tablespoon of carrier oil and 1 drop of essential oil. And you know, you could use it for anything, you know, literally it's just your general purpose, you know. So if there was digestive discomfort, you would rub it on their tummies or their little feet. If you just wanted to help them you know, use it as soothing thing for skin, then you just apply it topically on the area. You could rub it into their feet for calming. Of course, along here, it's amazing. I've seen this firsthand with my own children, and also other people, you know, who I've helped with teething babies. This one, amazing. Obviously, it's found in chamomile. That's what chamomile is made from, the homeopathic remedy. And what did I want to say? Oh, Karma, the kids blend. I've also, you know, Karma, given that to babies. It's already diluted. It's got lavender in it and a couple of other oils, and that's really beautiful as well. So the last flower oil before we move on to the mandarins, and then we're finished. So I probably don't need to say too much about lavender. So I'm just going to talk about a couple of things that maybe you might not have thought of, rather than telling you all the things you probably already know around, you know, sleep and calming and anxiety and all that kind of stuff. So doTERRA mainly source their lavender from Bulgaria. It's got amazing climate, amazing soil, just the perfect place for many of doTERRA's oils, flower oils. Rose comes from there as well, quite a few other oils as well. Loads of research, loads and loads of research. And skin, did you know that all types of skin situations we can try lavender for? It's great to have a bottle in the kitchen for kind of cooking related accidents. It's a lovely thing to have as a, you know, as an oil tea, a lavender oil tea in the evening. It's quite strong in its taste, really gentle in its action. You know, you can use this one neat if you're not sensitive or you know, very young. Yeah, it's a beautiful oil, quite strong. I'll use it in chocolate sometimes, but I'll be sure only to use 1 drop because the floral flavors are quite intense. The emotional aspects of this oil are, you've probably had me talking about it before, but it's all about communication and calm. So people that perhaps need a bit of help speaking up or speaking out, or they are going to have a difficult conversation, people that struggle to find like their true voice or their authentic voice, or yeah, as it says there, it encourages emotional honesty and insists that one speaks their innermost thoughts and desires. It's just a really gorgeous one. It works so well in personal care, which is why I put that body scrub recipe in there. You can play around with the types of, you know, these recipes, the types of oil and the types of salt. You could even use sugar instead of salt. Pillow sprays. My son does this with citrus bloom and citrus bliss together. He's absolutely loving that at the moment. Yeah, so some ideas there on how you can use your lavender. We're almost done. I'm just going to check the comments one last time. I think you're all still with me. No other questions from what I can see. Do let me know. Last chance, because we're going to be finishing soon. So green mandarin. So this was the one personally that I was most excited about, only because I actually only this week did I get the very last oil that, you know, I now can say I have the whole collection. So it's taken me almost 5 years to get all of them. And so I tend to only get really, really excited when there's an oil that I don't already have. And because I've got all of them, I'm very, very grateful to have all of them. It's a real blessing to have, you know, it feels like I've really, I mean, you don't need every oil in the collection to be able to deal with anything that comes up in your home, but it's certainly a beautiful, gorgeous thing to have all these lovely tools at your disposal. So for me, if there's ever a limited time offer, basically that just means that it's not normally available. We can't buy them through our account, and they're just popping up for a certain amount of time and then they're gone. So the oil that came with green mandarin was yellow mandarin, and that popped up for the BOGOs, and now it's gone. You know, there isn't a way of getting it. So I was really excited about that, and I got I think I got 3. So yes, because I love citrus as well. They're one of my favorite kind of classes of oils. So green mandarin's got a really exciting or kind of interesting story behind it, in that the mandarin, so all the mandarin oils are sourced from Brazil, and part of cultivating the regular mandarin, the red mandarin, the trees are culled or pruned, and a big percentage of the fruit is discarded to ensure that the fruit that's left, that's what creates, you know, the best, most abundant and lovely oil when it's extracted. And normally, you know, that the green mandarins, the unripe mandarins that are discarded, they didn't actually have any use. But what doTERRA have realized, that actually there's a lot of interesting chemistry in the peel and the orange and the oil. And so now they've made this oil. It tastes amazing. It's so refreshing and uplifting in its scent and its aroma. It has a lot of the oils citrus oils will have different digestive support to them. So it's not like the ZenGest oil that I spoke about, where they all, ZenGest kind of pretty much does anything to support all those different digestive, occasional digestive kind of niggles. But the citrus oils, you'll see that each one does a couple of quite specific things with regards to different digestive issues. So you have to kind of look that up to see particularly what each one does. So I love green mandarin in water, and I love it in diffuser blends. But we also know that citrus oils can be used on the skin. They're kind of clarifying, cleansing. This is one that can be used to support the immune system. So we could have this in a veggie cap. And there's some ideas on the image there. You know, we can incorporate it in personal care, foot soaks, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's just gorgeous. I just love smelling citrus and drinking them. But like lime, there's a respiratory component to green mandarin as well, which is really lovely. So there's this blend here that I thought I would share with you called Sweet Trees, where you combine 3 drops each of Siberian fir and grapefruit. You could use another fir if you didn't have Siberian. You could even use holiday peace. That would be a lovely one. And then 2 drops each of Douglas fir and green mandarin. So this is going to be really uplifting, because fir trees also have that uplifting, clean kind of aroma to them. So try that. Let me know what you think. Green mandarin is the emotional aspects. It's the oil of pure potential. So all citrus oils are about reconnecting with that childlike state that we can kind of lose with the humdrum of our adult kind of life. So green mandarin specifically, it talks about helping us to remember the budding excitement that we once felt about life. And it reminds individuals that they have direct access to pure potential and boundless opportunities. It encourages all to experience the joy in the journey and never to stop becoming. So we're not trying, it's not like, oh, we'll be happy when we do this, or we get that, or we've done this. It's actually trying to have appreciation and find enjoyment in every moment as we're living that. And actually that's achieved in part by slowing down and being present. Alrighty guys, we're on the last oil and the last slide that I've got to share with you this evening. So thank you to those that have stayed with me for the duration. I hope you've enjoyed it. And if you are watching the replay, you know, I will come back to any questions as well. So I mentioned already that all the mandarins are sourced from Brazil, and lots of studies on this one actually. So interesting that doTERRA haven't already made this one available, because that's, you know, that's a lot of studies on one oil. It is rich in the limonene, which most citrus oils are. It also has these cleansing properties and these soothing properties. Linalool is what's found in lavender, one of the constituents that are responsible for lavender's calming, soothing properties. So, you know, you hear me talk sometimes about how citrus oils are calming, even though we think of them, some people think of them as energizing. It's because of the linalool. Okay, you can see that here in this yellow mandarin, that helps us to feel soothed and calm when we smell it. Okay, so they will also promote feelings of joy, because they are they do have that like that benefit as well. So again, cleansing, we want to just be aware not to put citrus oils on our skin and go in intense prolonged sun. We will probably get burnt, especially bergamot's the worst. Also sunbeds, but interestingly, it doesn't apply to green mandarin, because the fruit hasn't ripened, and the kind of the natural chemical in all the other citrus oils isn't present yet, which is why, it's just an interesting little fact there that green mandarin is the exception. You can still use the citrus oils on your skin, because they do, all of them pretty much have skin supporting properties. But the advice would be, I mean, obviously if you're in the UK and it's winter, you don't need to worry anyway, but just general advice would be, you know, use citrus oils in the evening if you're going to be using them on your face. So for example, wild orange oil, it's actually great for aging support. It's a really good one to be blending into, you know, different night creams and things. And you're fine, because it's only for 12 hours. So by the time you're up and out, if it is a sunny day, you're all good. Obviously enjoy these in your water. They're gorgeous, all the citrus oils. Alrighty, so we are finished. Let's see where you are, so I can see if there's any last questions. And I hope that's been useful, guys. I put this together just for you, because as you know, I am passionate about the education side, teaching, hopefully inspiring and enabling people to, you know, if you've invested in the oils, my wish, finished. Let's see where you are, so I can see if there's any last questions. Hang on. So it's, you know, it's my wish that you know how to use them and get the best from them, and they support your health and your emotional wellness in the best way. So yeah, I put this together, but if you want more, you can go to my Instagram and look in my bio, and the very first link there is an ebook that doTERRA put together on these BOGO oils, and some recipes and different ways to use them and all the rest of it. It is also in this group, but you'd have to kind of search for it. So I can't remember what I called it. But yeah, if you want more, I mean, I could have just shared that tonight and talked you through that, but I felt like I wanted to kind of create something that was more personal to me, and hopefully that you guys would enjoy as well. All right, so it's lovely to be with you this evening. Have a great evening, everybody. And if you want more, there was doTERRA's spring tour that was a couple of nights ago. I was actually the first presenter on there, so don't worry, it's not all me, but it's 3 hours of really, really fun and amazing, interesting content. If you caught it, let us know in the comments what you thought. And if you haven't yet seen it, it would be a lovely thing for you to kind of do over the weekend. Don't have to watch it all in one go, obviously, but you can find it on doTERRA's UK and Ireland group. So if you just search for doTERRA UK and Ireland, and it will live on there as a live for a little while. So I imagine it's like the first or second sort of, you know, a post or post that you can find it there. So have a great weekend, everybody, and thanks for being with me again. Much love, and see you soon.